Kunubi, and you're welcome to Kiko Sports Show. This morning, we'll look at more updates from the world of sports. Well, Kylian Mbappe to Real Madrid no longer news. Remember, I shared that with you in the breaking news on Extra Time last night. Also, the result of Heartland in their game and the NPFL Monday evening of football spill over. Well, what is that supposed to mean? What does that portray? I also let you know. Well, remember, teams are getting set for the Euro 2024. European teams were in action yesterday and a friendly encounter for Three Lions of England smoking hot. Well, remember this team got to the final of the last edition, lost against Italy. This and more will be a focus on the show this morning. Remember, you also stand a chance of winning a brand new jersey for yourself this morning on that segment of the Road to Berlin this morning on Solutions 93.9 FM. But first, remember, we're live on Facebook, live on YouTube, Solutions 93.9 FM. Remember to click like, subscribe, follow, share. X, it is at Solutions 93.9 FM. Keep following, keep subscribing, keep commenting. And remember, one question waiting for you this morning. Let's go. Okay, so let's start with tennis this morning. Remember, games are going down at different centers, most especially for the French Open. Well, for Novak Djokovic, this man is already thinking of the next tournament, either maybe just pull out or to, continue. He's more of a fitness, just like a Rafael Nadal. He listens to his body and he takes the next step. For Novak Djokovic, he's uncertain he will be able to play in the French Open quarterfinals tomorrow after injuring his right knee and needing anti-inflammatory tablets during the epic fourth round of victory over Francisco Cerundolo, the world #1, limped into the quarterfinal at Roland Garros after defying a knee injury to come through the longest Roland Garros match of his career. Well, with what happened, maybe he may be pulling out. Or maybe the next opponent can just jump on that opportunity. But looking at games going down today, Giga Dimitrov will take Jannik Sinner by 1 p.m. in the ATP category of the French Open, while Stefanos Tsitsipas battles Carlo Alcaraz in the WTA category. Anjaba, Corey Goff battling each other. This is a tough one. And remember, when it gets to this stage, you know you have tried, right? But you have to keep trying. You don't just have to drop your racket. Iga Swiatek, the Polish tennis star, will take on Marketa Vondrousova by 11:30. First game in the WTA is by 10 o'clock when Corey Goff will take on Ons Jabeur. Now, let us look at what is happening in the world of boxing. Well, for Anthony Joshua, heavyweight Anthony Joshua has begun talks to fight fellow Briton Daniel Dubois in September. Joshua is expected to fight at Wembley Stadium on 21st September and was ringside to watch Dubois beat Philip Haggovish last Saturday in Saudi Arabia. Dubois' promoter Frank Warren confirmed talks were underway. Well, remember, Ukrainian Usyk has requested his IBF belt not to be stripped, so the undisputed title can remain on the line when he fights Tyson Fury in the rematch on 21st of December. And the way everything is going around now, but let's first agree that Alexander Usyk is undisputed heavyweight champion. Okay, now let's talk basketball this morning. Now, in preparation for the Olympics, Nigeria's D Tigress will play Germany and Puerto Rico in friendly games next month ahead of the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. According to reports, the Tigress will play Germany in Berlin Basketball Festival on July 19. Then on July 24, they will take on Puerto Rico in their second tune-up fixture. The Tigress are in Group B alongside host France, Australia, and Canada. At the Olympic Games, they will open the campaign against Australia on 29th of July. The women's basketball tournament at the 2024 Olympic Summer Games will be the 21st edition of the event for women at the Summer Olympic Games.
News, sports, entertainment, top 100 music on your Remedy Radio dial. Solutions 93.9.
Do not touch that dial.
All right, welcome back. Check the time right now. It is 9:06 from Solutions 93.9 FM. Now let's go straight and talk football this morning as we look at the Nigeria Premier Football League. What does it look like for the intrigues and for what may happen to some teams? Remember, Gombe United already out, and decision was also made yesterday. Talking about the results in the Nigeria Premier Football League for Heartland, it is a difficult season for them. Losing again against the Aqua United 2-0 and match day 34. Now for match day 35 for teams, they will be looking at opportunities to pick points and to avoid dropping points. Remember, for Sunshine Stars of Akure, did the unthinkable over the weekend, going on the road, defeating Gombe United and relegating that side after the 2-0 score line. Enugu Rangers will hope to continue that super form at the match day 35 when they host Eyimba International. And for Remo Stars, will be on the road against Lobi Stars. Shooting Stars, that is placed fourth on the NPFL log, will be up against ninth place Rivers United on the road. The four teams are on the NPFL log. That is how their pairings look like on the Nigeria Premier Football League log. For teams in the relegation zone, Sporting Lagos with 42 points from 34 matches, winning 11 this season, will be on the road against Bayelsa United. But the question is, can they shock Bayelsa? Remember, Bayelsa United is 18th on the NPFL log. And for Heartland FC of Owerri, we'll be taking on Doma United. Doma United is 16th, so it is more of the battle of relegation threatened sides against each other. And for Gombe United, well, they should be. They'll be playing Katsina United in the match day 35. Well, remember, Katsina United played out 2-2 draw with Shooting Stars Sports Club of Ibadan in the match day 32. All right, is it 32 or 30? Yeah, 33, I beg your pardon. But now let's go on this morning. That is what it looks like in the Nigeria Premier Football League. But now jumping away from the Nigeria Premier Football League and talking more of the national team, the delegation of Nigeria's under-17 girls, Flamingos, will fly into the Liberian capital, Monrovia, on Thursday ahead of the Sunday's FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup final qualifying fixture first leg encounter against their Liberian counterpart. Now, to reach this stage, the 2022 World Cup bronze medalists dispatched their counterparts from Central African Republic and Burkina Faso with high goal margin. It doesn't count at this stage. It is more of winning your games and focusing on that ticket. Liberia, who ejected Senegal from the race, faced an uphill task against the nimble-footed Nigerian girls with coach Bankole Oluwokere, insisted that the Flamingos are determined to be the Dominican Republic to have the opportunity to challenge for the trophy this time around. Let's talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Remember, we're still counting down to Euro 2024, and there is a question. Well, you get it right. You come here to pick up a brand new national team jersey, but first we need to know the country you'll be supporting. All right, let's go straight to Uyo this morning.
Super Eagles, waiting they happen, waiting they share, we want no. Shayna Winch, I been landing, no matter their plan, no, we go still they fly. tell me where you be. Finidi make you tell me where you be. Ayegbeni make you tell me where you be. Tijani make you tell me where you be. Antaribo make you tell me where you do. Ayobo make you tell me where you dey. Papilo make you tell me where you dey. Erike Jofo make you tell me where you dey. Walele, walele, where you dey? Yeah, oh, my brother, where you dey? Say walele, walele, where you dey? My brother, where you dey? Okocha make you tell me where you dey. Aga Wonder make you tell me where you dey. Okorongwo make you tell me where you dey. Sigaruba make you tell me where you dey. Olise make you tell me where you dey. Udeze make you tell me where you dey. Ike Shoruru make you tell me where you dey. Akuwegu make you tell me where you dey. Ayosi Kenya say where you dey. Ababayaru make you tell me where you dey.
Okay, talking about the Super Eagles of Nigeria preparing for the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers against Bafana of South Africa. Remember, some key players are yet to land in Uyo due to the ongoing nationwide strike. The likes of Ademola Lookman, Alex Iwobi. Remember, we gave you the update yesterday. But updates we are also getting this morning from the Super Eagles camp is that the team will be training once today. Now, the Super Eagles will train once today as they intensify preparations for the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers against South Africa and Benin Republic. The session, according to the team's media officer, Promise Efoge, will commence at 4 p.m. It will hold at the practice pitch of the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, Uyo. It will be a closed-door session with no access to the media and members of the public. The Super Eagles started preparations for the two games on Sunday with two training sessions on the day. The three-time African champions also follow the same routine on Monday. 15 players currently in the team's camp and 8 more players are still expected in camp. That's the latest update. And going straight to the South African team this morning, it is more of the fitness of players in that team. However, some players have already been called into that squad. Bafana head coach Hugo Bruce is sweating on the fitness of 4 players ahead of his side's clash with the Super Eagles of Nigeria. The former African champion started preparations for the crucial clash on Monday. Bruce told media that 4 Sundowns players arrived in camp with minor niggles but should be fine for the clash with Nigeria. And we are getting a report that the team will arrive Uyo tomorrow ahead of that clash against the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Remember, William Troost-Ekong will not be part of Super Eagles squad, but he will surely be available to watch the team on the sidelines. Remember, William Troost-Ekong is battling with fitness due to injury, hiccuped, and with the national team and going back to his club side. But with the situation of things, he will surely be on ground to watch and motivate the boys. Now, moving away from that, let us count down to Euro 2024 as we give you some updates from that, and most especially what is also happening in some teams. There are different replacements we are also getting in different national teams from different ends this morning.
Secrets hidden inside our bones. Starlight that bleeds when all of the lights come on. It's a beautiful miracle. How you lift me up when I feel low. Beautiful, everglow. Now I'm shining like a sea of gold. Yeah. Like a million diamonds in the sky, and we're lost in all the lights. we're on fire. Whoa. We're on fire.
Well, this should be the song that most teams will be playing going to the Euro 2024. And it's also the official song for the Euro 2024. Maybe the song for the Three Lions of England on fire with the performance they had yesterday against Bosnia Herzegovina in tune-up for the Euro 2024 with different goal scorers for England. Well, for Cole Palmer, he was in top form yesterday as he scored his first goal in that game against Bosnia Herzegovina in the 60th minute. Trent Alexander-Arnold scored the second with an assist from Jack Grealish, and guess what? Harry Kane scored the third goal. However, for the performance for the coach of the Three Lions of England, Gary Southgate believes that the boys are getting more inspired going to Euros.
Pleased with the intensity of the game. Firstly, you know, it was important game for all of the players in terms of the physical aspect. I think in the end the scoreline reflected the performance. I think that was fair. And yeah, look, individual performances. I think there were you know, numerous good ones. Clearly, I would imagine Eberechi has caught the eye with the way he started the game and the way he glides past people and the power that he shows. I thought Conor Gallagher was an important performance for us, given how important Declan's role is, and you know, I think Conor's work with the ball has improved. We know what he can do without the ball, but I thought he played with real maturity tonight. And then a first goal for Cole Palmer, and I thought Adam Wharton also, you know, showed what he's been doing that we've seen at the end of the season and in training. He sees pictures early, he can play forward. It's obviously very early for him, but lovely that he looked as comfortable as he did. So.
Okay, well, that was the coach of the Three Lions of England, Gary Southgate. Now, well, for other teams getting set for the Euro 2024, Scotland also went to winning ways, beating Gibraltar 2-0 in the friendly game yesterday. Christier and Adams getting the goals for Steve Clark aside. But looking at all the results of the friendly games decided yesterday, Albania defeated Liechtenstein 3-0 as Germany-Ukraine played out goalless. It was a tough one between Germany and Ukraine in that game last night. But looking at all the matches scheduled for today, talking about the friendly games ahead of the Euro 2024, Slovenia will take on Armenia tonight. About 5 p.m., 7:15 will be Estonia taking on Switzerland. Romania will take on Bulgaria, Austria to battle Serbia, Ireland against Hungary. Portugal will take on Finland, and Italy. Defending champions will take on Turkey. Now let us talk about the team profile of Switzerland this morning to wrap up the Group A of the Euro 2024 as we count down.
Switzerland will emerge quarter-finalists in the 2020 edition, will be dreaming of another progress 4 years after in this edition on the German soil. Captained by Bayer Leverkusen midfielder Granit Xhaka will be banking on the German immortal record set with his club side Leverkusen in the just concluded Bundesliga, where they went unbeaten in all league games. Appearing for the 5th time, the Murans Yakin tutored side will open their Euro 2024 campaign in the Group A against Hungary before taking on Scotland and facing Germany in the last group game.
Okay, well, you just got a team profile for Switzerland. Okay, and now let's go straight to the question for today. Well, tell me the group where Croatia is placed at the Euro 2024. Tell me the group where Croatia is placed and tell me the coach of the Croatian national team. 0909-888-9939, 0909-888-9939, or 0912-222-2939, 0912-222-2939. You stand a chance of winning data, airtime, jerseys on the show this morning. Alright, remember you must also follow us on across all social media platforms. X, Facebook, IG at Solutions 93.9 FM. Remember to subscribe on our YouTube channel at Solutions 93.9 FM. 0909-888-9939 0912-222-2939. Well, we say congratulations to Paul, who won the Portuguese national team jersey yesterday, and he came around to pick the jersey. Now, talking about Portugal this morning, Cristiano Ronaldo called his first full season in Saudi Pro League one of the best of his career, after receiving the award on Monday for scoring the most goals in the league, a record-breaking 35. The Portugal international signed with Al Nassr on December 30, 2022, and played the second half of SPL season in 2023. The question is, can he continue with his top form going to Euros with the Portuguese national team?
News, sports, entertainment, top 100 music on your Remedy Radio dial. Solutions 93.9.
Do not touch that dial.
Okay, remember the justice still hanging there. Now let's look at more updates on the show this morning. Still talking football, and well, you still want to jump on that offer. The brand new jersey still waiting for you. The data airtime cash. Atalanta coach Gian Piero Gasperini has said it would be something extraordinary to defeat Real Madrid in the UEFA Super Cup. Remember, Atalanta defeated Bayer Leverkusen in the Europa League final, courtesy a hat-trick from Nigeria's man. Well, that is Ademola Lookman. However, for Real Madrid, defeated Borussia Dortmund in the final over the weekend. 2-0 was the score line. And according to reports we are getting, Atalanta and Madrid will now square off on August 14 in Poland for the Super Cup tie. Now, moving on this morning, let us look at what is happening on the transfer window. All right, talking about the Gunners and Napoli updates we're getting is that Napoli have picked out two Arsenal players, Takehiro Tomiyasu and Emily Smith-Rowe. They will be willing to include in any potential swap deal that will see £110 million rated striker Victor Osimhen move to the Gunners. Now, Manchester United are planning talks with Jadon Sancho before deciding on his future. Sancho hasn't played for United since August, following a public bust-up with manager Erik ten Hag. It was loaned to former club Borussia Dortmund in January and helped the Bundesliga side reach the Champions League final, where they lost 2-0 against Real Madrid. Now, for West Ham United, they are closing in on a €30 million, approximately £25.5 million signing of 18-year-old Brazilian midfielder Luis Guilherme from Palmeiras. Hammers, director of a football team, State has been in Brazil trying to boast a new manager, Julian Lopetegui's squad. And there should be better understanding between the two gentlemen. All right, from this side, we'll move to the other side of the show this morning. We'll look at headlines on the pages of Nigerian newspapers, and where we'll also talk more about the decision and agreement signed yesterday between the Labour Union, the Tripartite Committee, the SGF. There's going to be more meetings. That should be for the next few days, complete 1 week. But the question is, will the strike still continue? This and more we'll be discussing on the other side. My name is OLADAPO. Couldn't be. Do not go anywhere. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor. How are you doing? Are you feeling okay? Good morning, my neighbor. How are you doing? Are you feeling okay? Good morning, my neighbor. How are you doing? Are you feeling okay? Good morning, my neighbor. How are you doing? Are you feeling okay? Good morning, my neighbor. How are you doing? Are you feeling okay? Good morning, my neighbor. How are you doing? Are you feeling okay? Good morning, my neighbor. How are you doing? Are you feeling okay? Good morning, my neighbor. How are you doing? Are you feeling okay? My neighbor, my neighbor, my neighbor, my neighbor. Good morning, my neighbor. How are you doing? Are you feeling okay? Good morning, my neighbor. How are you doing? Are you feeling okay?
Well, I don't know if you're feeling good this morning as a Nigerian, because judging by what I have read and seen on social media, it looks like a lot of people are not so excited. But if anything, we should be grateful for the gift of life. So, in that order, I would say good morning to you, just as SARS is saying this morning. Welcome to From the Dailies, as we talk about the major concerns in our nation, Nigeria. My name is Victory Onyedikachi. Good morning to you.
Well, my name is OLADAPO Kunubi, and well, I'm not feeling okay. Just to answer, blackout since yesterday, burning diesel. Even the inverter now knows that it needs to work more, and I don't know how much guys are buying a liter of diesel now. Now to even talk of a liter of petrol. And you know that sometimes when you switch on your gen, you'll be like, okay, so how do I get the next liter of fuel with the current situation? And by the way, we kept monitoring the meeting of the Nigerian labor, the organized labor with the SGF yesterday. And I also listened to the Minister of Labor yesterday, and I saw how bullish she was sounding, talking about the federal government plan in making lives better for Nigerians. But is this the case? When will Nigeria get better? When will an ordinary Nigerian put hands in his pocket and say, I want to eat complete 3 square meal? Well, this is
3 square meal is out of the question. If you can afford 2 square meal right now, you're among the rich, because right now I don't even think that we have three social or economic strata. It's just between the poor and the rich. There's no middle class anymore. With the current state of our economies, it's really sad what
they
we're
have
experiencing.
and they have not.
That's what it is.
All right, this morning we've got the Nation and the Punch newspapers here.
All right, I'll be taking stories from the Nigerian Tribune and the Vanguard newspaper. Be reminded that we're streaming live on Facebook as well as YouTube at Solutions 939. So do well to jump in on the platform and react to stories that are of interest to you, as well as sending messages via text or WhatsApp to the WhatsApp number 0904 422 2939. We'll be sure to read that in a bit. But right now, let's get into the papers.
News, sports, entertainment, top 100 music on your Remedy Radio dial. Solutions 93.9.
Do not touch that dial.
All right, we'll start off with the Nigerian Tribune paper. CBN revokes Heritage Bank's operations license. Presidential Tax Reform Committee mules Nigeria's revenue service to replace FIRS. Minimum wage total shutdown as NLC TUC begin strike. Government secretariats, businesses, hospitals, airport, seaport, power supply affected. Shelf strike now, comply with legal procedures, police tell Labour. Call of strike, return to roundtable. Federal government appeals to Labour. Don't be tired of negotiations, Sultan appeals to workers. SGF in emergency meeting with Labour leaders. They had a 6 hours meeting yesterday. Police will abide by federal government's decision on state policing, IGP. On page 28 is where you can find that story. Tragedy at Force headquarters as DCP dies in office. Army hands over 8 rescued students to Kogi government. These are the stories on the front page of the Tribune paper.
All right, now going straight to the Nation newspaper this morning and looking at some headlines. Wage, federal government, Labour sign pact. What does that supposed to mean, and what will happen after that? Well, there's going to be more meetings daily. Now, Labour throws a nation into darkness on day one of stalled wage talks strike. NDIC begins a payment of Heritage Bank depositors with less than 5 million naira. Tax reforms. A panel proposes 1% cost of collection for customers, for customs, FIRS, NPA, others. Tinubu renews vow to enhance quality of life. Get more from the Nation newspaper this morning.
All right, away from the Nation, let's now move over to the Vanguard newspaper as we look through some stories that made headlines this morning. All right, we're starting off with this story on the Vanguard newspaper. Why we revoked Heritage Bank's license. NAMAMD wants reversal of 50% IGR deduction in interest of safety. Presidential Committee canvasses 1% revenue cost of collection. Government reforms should push Nigerians into poverty. Government reforms, rather, shouldn't push Nigerians into poverty, Ajayro. IOC refuses to sell crude to refinery, Dangote. Labour shuts Nigeria as wage talks resumes today. These are the stories on the front page of the Vanguard paper.
Now punching down headlines from the Punch newspaper this morning, starting with a banner headline screaming, minimum wage, FG offers over 60,000 naira. Labour may end strike. Right after that headline says, negotiate panel to meet daily. Negotiation panel to meet daily. NLC, TUC, ground schools, banks, power grid. And right well, looking at another headline here from the pocket headline, IOC's not selling crude to our refinery, says Dangote. To the cap headlines, I'm working to improve quality of life, Tinubu. Aye, Now, looking at some other headlines here, foreign reserves fall by $1.8 billion in 10 weeks. Water from Benin. Border agency rescues Ogun communities after Punch report. Last headline from the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning says Nigeria, UAE face off settled. Visa issuance begins soon. FG. All right, this and more you can find from the Punch newspaper, but we just gave you all the headlines from the front pages of this newspapers, Punch, Vanguard, The Nation, and the Nigerian Tribune. Well, remember, last night around 11 p.m., the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SJF, that is George Akume, was in a meeting with the leadership of the organized labor, and, there was an agreement signed. Let's listen to this agreement, and after that, Comrade Ayode Jadishokwe will be joining us.
Further to the negotiation by the Tripartite Committee on National Minimum Wage and subsequent withdrawal of labor from negotiation, the leadership of the National Assembly intervened on 2nd June 2024. The organized labor declared nationwide strike on Monday, 3rd June 2024, to drive home its demands. The federal government, in the national interest, convened a meeting with labor held in the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation on Monday, 3rd June, with a view to ending the strike. After exhaustive deliberations and engagement by both parties, the following resolutions were reached. The President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, is committed to a national minimum wage that is higher than 60,000. Arising from the above, the Tripartite Committee is to meet every day for the next 1 week with a view to arriving at an agreeable national minimum wage. Labor, in deference to the high esteem of the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, is committed in paragraph 3 sub 2 above, and it takes to convene a meeting of its organs immediately to consider this commitment. And for no worker will be victimized as a result of the industrial action. Down in Abuja on the 3rd of June 2024. And this document is signed for the federal government by the Minister of Information and National Orientation and the Honorable Minister of State for Labor and Employment. For the organized labor, President Nigeria Labor Congress, President Trade Union Congress. Let me reassure Nigerians that we have had a very realistic and patriotic meeting, and the results will be very, very manifest soon. Thank you very much.
All right, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, speaking there after the meeting yesterday with the labor, the organized labor union and Tripartite Committee. Well, Comrade Ayode Jadishokwe is here. Let us delve straight into this because that is the main thing. I mean, everywhere has been on a blackout. So maybe after signing this, maybe the Nigerian labor, the organized labor will now come out and say, now we are calling off the strike. Good morning, Comrade.
Good morning to you, Comrade.
Yes. Thank you for joining us. You heard George Akume. You heard George Akume there.
Well, I had him on another platform. Yes. Hello?
Yeah, we are with you. We are with you. So now,
Yes.
after signing this, statement and coming up, but there is a line which a lot of Nigerians are talking about is that the federal government will surely supports the minimum wage, the new minimum wage that is above 60,000 naira. Are we saying that they did not really say this is the amount that federal government will surely pay?
Yeah, you will realize that the federal government is being strategic and tactical. You see, you don't show your hand in negotiations like this. When you show your hand, you will be boxed into a corner. The federal government, of course, they know where they are headed. They know what they are going to pay, bottom line. But they are just, if they are saying we're going to be paying 80, the labor movement will have pressed them further beyond that. So they said that is the art of negotiation. That is the skill that is involved in negotiation. You are headed for 100. You start from 40. So they are saying, we have done so much. We have moved from 40, we moved to 50, we moved to 60, we are now at this. So that is the art of negotiation. I am not so sure that Labour, in spite of all their training, they have not demonstrated the art of negotiation. They know where they're headed. They know the bottom line. The relevant guys will have told them, if you do this, this is the consequence. If you do this, this is the bottom line. They know where they are headed. So, of course, they're not going to engage in a frontal show with Labour. I mean, they won't. To all intents and purposes, the strike is over. Are you aware? To all intents and purposes, the strike is over. A meeting is holding 10 a.m. this morning. That is when a statement, a joint release will be. The strike is good as over.
So, if you're saying, but don't let us, preempt what will surely happen after that meeting. We know Labor. I mean, I'm not trying to say we know what Labour can do. Labour can come out to say that maybe they even walk out of the meeting as well. That is 2. But 3, if at the end of the day there is, they both reach an agreement and come out to say the strike is over, who has been on the losing side for the past 24 hours plus?
The people. The people are always at the receiving end of strikes. I mean, those who had transactions yesterday, legitimate transactions, they were not able. Yes, in spite of online platforms and all of that, but there are things that you have to go into the bank to do. What if that was the last day, that was available to them to close and seal the transaction? Only God knows what people lost. Yesterday, a pregnant woman, my dear comrade brother, at that very, very close to our office, you understand, at our wedding house, told me she went to Adioyo for antenatal. She was not attended to. What if she was already developing some issues, and they will have discovered that and ameliorated her condition? What if there was going to be complication? Anything could have happened. People would have lost their lives in these 24 hours or thereabout. It is always the people that is at the losing end. It is always the people.
Well, it's really sad, the reality of things that we're seeing in our nation right now. But if perhaps they come to a conclusion, what do you think? What do you preempt as the minimum wage that would be acceptable by the NLC and Nigerians? Because what they're proposing, according to the federal government, is unobtainable, 494,000 naira. What's the argument that can be reached with a minimum wage that is acceptable?
Look, there's a trajectory. There was a report in one of the newspapers yesterday. We started at 125. We actually moved from 5,000 to 18,000, I recall, in the days of Obasanjo. Yes, that was the days of our, what do you call it? Crude oil selling for 120 and $9 per barrel. That is not going to happen. Not in the circumstance in which we are. Who will pay? Who is capable of paying? Let's even leave the governors that are basically instrumental in a lot of this. Yes, call the number, but who will pay? Leave the governors out. Even the organized private sector and the small and medium scale enterprises, are they able to pay? Those who have filling stations, Have you ever had any one of them paying? What is the margin on what they do? You know, margin determines how much you are able to pay. You understand? So we have to set realistic. And then people are saying, is it about money, money, money alone? What about, you know, if primary health care is available, you understand, and accessible to all, if, you know, there is health insurance like Oyo State has, you know, that health insurance that Oyo State has, and, you know, at a reasonable cost, you understand, if hundreds, tens of millions of people do it, that will cover everybody, you understand? 10 will cover one when one is sick and all of that. If these things help, you know, and then food security. One artisan told me about 2 months ago, I took my shop to the workshop, my car to the workshop, and he said, look, government can increase the price of anything, but let it not affect the price of food. He said, anything else, let the price go up. But anything that will affect the price of food is what is going to cause problem. That was when reality of what we are confronted with dawned on me, that don't touch food, touch anything else, but don't touch food. You understand? And Yoruba said too that when hunger is out of a man's problems, other challenges can be dealt with. You understand? Where do I sleep? What clothes do I wear? You understand? It is people who have several clothes that will be thinking, what clothes do I wear today? If you wear one, well, you just put it on and go. You won't mind. But hunger can turn a sane man into an unstable mind. You understand? I tell people there are two levels of hunger for me. There's hunger in my stomach. I can manage that. I mean, that can. But when the hunger translates into my head, then I'm thinking I'm hungry. That's another level. So these are the issues that government should take care of. And you see, we looked up to federal government for too much. What about our state governments? What about the local governments that are right within and around us? These are the things we should demand that be operational and be functional. I recall during 1999 and 2001 when we had effective local government in Oyo State. Nobody cared about the state. You just go to your chairman's house in the morning. I had a cousin who was a local government chairman. By 5:36 in the morning, his house was full. You know, so and they had resources to to manage the situation. This is what we should demand. We should take our focus off the federal government.
Indeed,
but of course,
comrade.
this is understandable in view of our experience under the military, that everybody looked up to Abuja.
I
So,
mean, you've raised some very serious concern, especially with who is going to pay the money. Even with the 30,000 minimum wage, we have some state governors who are still not paying that amount as of this moment. So imagine it's been increased to 100,000. But good enough, the NLC is not just fighting for minimum wage. Electricity tariff is there, amongst other things. But let's move away from that and talk about the IOCs not selling crude oil to Dangote refinery. Now, the business mogul has taken to an interview on CNN to disclose that he is having struggles. As a matter of fact, he categorically stated that if he had known that these struggles would be what he would experience, he would have not even started off with building a refinery. Now, the IOCs in their defense would not want to sell to local buyers because exporting would generate more income to them. Before, it was an argument of we don't have refinery, but we have crude. Now we have refinery, but selling the crude oil to the refinery is now the challenge. What exactly do we want in this country?
my dear comrade brother, that is a cheeky one coming from Aliko Dangote, a strong man by any means in the Nigerian economic space. And who are the IOCs? International oil companies. We should not forget that all these IOCs, the NNPCL has a stake in them. They call them joint venture. Now, I find that very strange. But also, don't also forget that the Buhari administration mortgaged our crude oil ahead of and collected money ahead of time. We should not forget that. And we have a quota. You understand? We have an what do you call it? We have a quota that has been assigned to us. They met recently, OPEC. They met this last week and agreed to maintain that quota. Even our quota, you see, are we doing our quota, and how are we spreading it? Of course, the IOCs will want. You see, you buy at spot market price. They call it spot market. It is whether you are in Lagos or you are in Calabar or you are in Washington or you are in Venezuela, you buy the same price. You don't negotiate with the companies. You go and negotiate on the spot market. So it is a strange thing for Dangote to be making such claims. But the important thing is for Dangote to get crude oil to run his refinery. He's a businessman. And you see, while he was building the refinery, did he not take, you should go and site a refinery somewhere. You go and site a factory somewhere. Is it not one of the basic things you have to consider? Raw materials, you understand? Raw materials for production. Is that not one of the things you take into consideration while you're citing an industry? It is cheeky. It is cheeky and very, very intriguing for Dangote to now say that. I mean, even before you build a refinery, you are likely to have signed some form of agreement. You understand? Like, let me say, I want to cite a pineapple manufacturing company. I now go to a village to site it. I will have reached an agreement with those who plant pineapples that I will be an off-taker. You understand? That you bring everything to me. You will have reached such an agreement with them. Coming from Dangote, I mean, a 20 billion, or is it 30 billion refinery, and you are saying and they are not selling to you. That's not acceptable.
So, comrade, I mean, you've said something that, raised a lot of eyebrows with most of us. Because for someone of his business acumen, you would have thought that he must have crossed all the T's and the I's, especially with the raw materials for. So, don't you think that it's probably not from his end? Because Dangote voicing out would mean that he's frustrated. Don't you think that the challenge is not just from his end?
Well, yes, there are undercurrents, you understand? There are certainly undercurrents, and it is out of frustration that the man is talking. But you see, how do you put 20 billion or 30 billion in investment somewhere? You will have plan A, you will have plan B, you ought to even have a plan C. That raises questions, serious questions about Dangote's plan. That raises serious questions. But certainly there are undercurrents because we even heard a few weeks back that they were not getting some operational licenses. Yeah, exactly. But these are standard procedures. You are not going to get it. You have to fulfill. When I say all righteousness, you have to fulfill and meet procedural standards. You are not just going to get it. There are standards and there are procedures. You are not just going to get it because you are in Nigeria. That is just it. Dangote is not going to just get it because you are Nigerian. It's just like any other organization.
Well, comrade, thank you very much for such an insight that you've raised on the matters that we've addressed this morning from the papers.
Always my pleasure, my dear comrade brother. Do have a most fruitful day, and God bless our union.
God bless Nigeria, and let's also await the breaking news, right? Let's all await the breaking news. Well, that was Comrade Ayode Jadishakwe there with his analysis. This is 9:55. We have to wrap up the show this morning and make a return tomorrow morning on the show. Remember, AM Updates starts at 9 a.m. with Kickoff Sports Show. At 9:30, we go to From the Dailies. We'll look at headlines on the pages of Nigerian newspapers. Well, from the side, my name is OLADAPO Okunobi.
Let's keep hope alive and hope that Nigeria would be great, because Nigeria will hail thee. My name is Victor Onyedikachi. Good morning.
be this way for you.